In this video, I'll be sharing with you a simple tutorial on how to cut this stylish backless dress with box pleating. So if this is something you like, kindly hit on the subscribe button. And this dress is from Stella Patrick Fashion. For this dress, you're going to find the full length of your dress first. Now, what you're going to do is measure your shoulder to waist, then add extra 5 inches to it. When you do that, what you do is go ahead to minus that from the actual measurement. Let's say the actual measurement of this gown is 35 and your shoulder to waist is 17, so add 5 inches to it. If I add 5 inches to mine, it will give me 22 inches. Now I will minus this 22 inches from 35 inches, so the remaining part is going to be the part where I will create the box pleating for the lower part of this dress. So after this, I placed my tape and I went ahead to mark my shoulder to bust, under bust, waist, and 5 inches after that, because if you look at this dress, we have like 3 sections: the upper part which stopped at the waistline, and the part starting from the waist down to the hip of this dress, and then the box pleated part of this dress. Now I'm just going to go ahead to outline this as bust, under bust, waist, and then the 5 inches extra on my pattern. After I'm done marking this, right, so now for the lower part of this dress, you need at least 3 to 4 yards depending on your size. So what I have left is about 13 inches, which I'm going to add 1 inch for the folding allowance and ½ inch for joining. That is the part I'll use for the box pleating. So next, I'll go ahead and mark my shoulder divided by 2 and come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Now I'm going to go ahead to place and mark this out. The next step you want to take is to find your chest line, and to find your chest line is your bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. Mine is 7 inches. I'll place my ruler and I'll go ahead to draw out a straight line on that part. Now, whatever measurement you have on your shoulder, go ahead to mark it back on the chest line. So I'll take my ruler and I'll go ahead to draw out a straight line connecting to the upper part. So after I'm done marking this, I'm just going to go ahead to measure what I have here at the chest line or armhole, divide it by 2 and then come out by ½ inch. Now on the chest line or armhole line, I will mark my bust circumference divided by 4. This will serve as a guide, and I'll connect from there to the armhole all the way to the upper part of this pattern. So after I'm done marking this, the next step I'll take is to go ahead to insert my body measurements. If you look closely on that pattern, you will notice that there is no joining, so you mark your measurement directly. I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4 and I'll add additional 1 inch to my pattern. So why I'm adding 1 inch to my pattern is that 1 inch will be extending all the way to the back of my pattern. That is, the 1 inch on the bust and the under bust will serve as an extension to add the loop at the back of my dress. Now the 1 inch at the waistline of this pattern will now go ahead to serve as a joining allowance from the front pattern to the back pattern of the dress. Now I'll place my curve drew and I'll go ahead to connect this. After I'm done connecting this, the next step I'll take is to go ahead to cut this out. So after I'm done cutting out, we can now go ahead to alter this pattern to get the design we desire. After I'm done cutting this out, now I'm going to go ahead to measure where I want my pattern or the neckline to start. So you can use 4 inches, 4.5 or 5 inches. That is where the sleeve of this dress by the side will start. So from my chest line, I went up by 1 inch because if you notice, that pattern is close to the bust. Now if you don't want yours to be too revealing like this, you can go ahead to measure from your neckline to where you want the neckline of the dress to stop. Now also note that the neckline of the dress is not that straight. It has like a slight blockish effect. Now I'll underline my waistline and I'll be cutting out the neckline of this dress and the waistline of the pattern. So for the upper part of this dress, you're going to add like a strap which will extend to the back of the dress. So just like I said, that extra 1 inch at the back, what I'll do is I'll go ahead to attach a loop at the back, which you're going to use to create the crisscross lacing for the back of the dress. So if you notice, at the lower part of this dress at the back, there's more like an elastic. That means you need to increase the waistline of your back, and what you now do is to go ahead to add like elastic band to secure it back. So what I'll do is to take my pattern and I'll place it on another paper. Now for this back pattern, at the front part, I'll add like extra inches to it. So depending on how full you want the back to be, you can add the extra inches. So this is what my pattern paper is remaining. I just added 3 inches. For your own, you can use as you can use like 5 inches. That is, you're adding extra inches to the front and you're tracing out the side of the pattern exactly. So on this pattern, when I was cutting out, I mistakenly cut out this area. That is the excess that we added, so that we're going to have that effect at the waistline. So what I'll do is just to hold my pattern back and I'll just go ahead to cut this side. I'll go ahead to cut this out. Now at the upper part of this pattern, when you're cutting it out, you're going to make an elastic casing for the back pattern. When you pass your elastic, it will draw back your waistline. So you can now go ahead to easily shape the sides of your lower part of this dress to that of the back pattern. I cut out this strap to indicate that you'll be adding like a strap to the upper part. Now to complete the lower part of this dress, for example, let's take this as the 3 yards of fabric that we have for the gathers of the lower part. Now you're going to place this on fold and you're going to find the center. Now from the center, that is where you start creating your box pleating on this dress. So for this box pleating, you want to go ahead also to like take measurements so that all your box will be of the same size. Like all your box pleating will be of the same size when you are pleating it. So I'm just going to go ahead to pleat this and show you the result, and you'll be attaching this back to your dress. So when I was recording, I didn't know the flash was much, but this is me trying to achieve a box pleating. So to do this, you have to like pin the center of this fabric to that of your main fabric before you now start creating your box pleating. And when you create that, you'll pin it with your pin and you're going to join it with 1/2 inch at the upper part.